Do you know what this is? I'll give you a clue. These are ball bearings, and this is a transmission bearing that I swapped out of a gearbox, or at least what's left of one, because every now and then, these components, they break. Who knew it? Nothing is infallible when covering hundreds of thousands of miles, being exposed to tens of thousands of heat cycles. But the good thing is, at least we can buy these components, rebuild gearboxes, and keep old cars on the road. Or can we? Let me tell you a story. So, I actually replaced this bearing about 4 or 5 years ago now. And it's a moment of relief. When you open up that gearbox, when you crack open that casing, and you see all the gear sets look all right, and it's just one singular bearing that's let go, it's a win. But it was quite short-lived in this case, because as I pulled this out, I went off and priced up a replacement. Now, it's one single basic ball bearing. How bad could it possibly be? £20, £30, maybe £40? Nah, way off. £135 plus VAT for this particular ball bearing. 135 quid. If it had been the next one along in the gear set, it would have been like £18. But of course, that's life. It had to be the big one. It had to be the expensive one. Anyway, I ordered it up, I replaced it, and that gearbox, it's still out there somewhere today, working away. But at the time, I remember thinking, 135 quid for something so simple, a ball bearing, an absurd amount of money. How could things possibly get worse than this? Well, it turns out they absolutely could. Because even though we knew we were getting bent over on pricing, at least we could still buy the parts that we needed to keep that old gearbox running. As astounding as it is, that's no longer always the case, with certain brands opting to use bearings amongst other components that are not commercially available. In other words, they're effectively unrepairable in the real world. Let me show you a video that was taken by a garage who have one such car in currently.
We took out the drive to find why it is making noise during the acceleration. We disassembled the gearbox and we found which gear is making noise. This is the ceramic bearing which failed, and this is the second time where on the second engine the same bearing failed the same way. This car is out of the warranty, and it is 2023. With remanufacturing, we will change all the bearings, which actually doesn't exist, but we found the supplier. Then we will assemble everything, clean everything, and save customer at least €8,000.
So that is a Kia EM07, which you'll also find in Hyundais from 2022 onwards. And as you heard that text say, it's got a failed bearing, not entirely dissimilar to what we've got here. And in fact, that's the third EM07 that they're aware of having the same failure, as they mention in a separate post. This is from them. Kia Hyundai EM07 2022 onwards, the title of worst motor design, effectively a non-repairable design, clearly goes to Mobis, i.e. Kia and Hyundai, who have managed to build a PM-SM drive using 7 non-standard, commercially unavailable bearings. This is the third motor sample with the same failure, 2 destroyed ceramic bearings on the rotor shaft, and the vehicle produces strong noise between 10 and 50 kilometers per hour. So for those who don't know and maybe thinking, well, what's the big deal? It's just a bit of noise. You could live with that for a while. No, you absolutely can't. When that noise is coming off of a bearing, it could be about to fail imminently. And when that bearing is tied into the drivetrain, you run a real risk of locking up the drive wheels if it does let go. So ignoring it, just running the car, is a complete no-go. And if you can't get your hands on the bearings, your only real option is to replace that whole unit at a cost of, and I do hope you're sitting down, £5,808.50. That's converting it from euros for this shop to do it with an OEM part and their labour costs. I mean, suddenly, my £135 bearing doesn't look like such bad value, does it? And look, I can almost hear you shouting at your screen at this point. Why not just use a machine shop to make them? You know, run off a bunch of these things for the owners who are inevitably going to have this problem down the road as these cars get older. Thing is, if it was that easy, these techs would have already done that. Good techs and mechanics, I mean, they're resourceful people. The issue is, these are not standard steel bearings that your local supplier could just knock up. As you might have heard mentioned there, they're ceramic, which are significantly more difficult and specialised to produce. Now, why are they using these? Well, in Kia and Hyundai's defence, I don't think it's completely without reason. One possibility for it is because steel bearings, when subjected to stray current, which is entirely possible inside an EV or hybrid drive motor, it can result in the deterioration of the faces of these bearings, and that obviously leads to premature failure. Ceramic, having less conductivity, isn't affected in the same way. So that's one possible justification, but what it doesn't begin to explain is why replacements can't be purchased. Why can't you get your hands on these? It's like having a broken tap and the bathroom supplier saying, oh, sorry, we can't sell you a new tap, but we can sell you a whole new bathroom, and that comes with the tap. Bearings, they break. Sometimes you have to replace them. That's why they aren't welded into the gearbox. They are a changeable item. It shouldn't mean that we have to replace entire gearboxes or drive units. Now, what I'm not saying here, don't get me wrong, is that no machine shop will ever be able to figure out how to make these replacements. Of course they will, eventually. What I'm saying is they shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel when the parts and manufacturing process already exist but are being blocked. Oh, and if you're thinking, we're talking about cars that are, up to 3 years old at this point, why aren't they just covered under warranty? Well, sometimes warranties get voided. If you miss that last service, if you use a different spec of fluid for a top-up, if you improperly tow that car, if you lose some of the paperwork, you may well find that that warranty no longer stands. According to this garage, the EV clinic, some of the cars that they've seen had warranties voided was because they'd been re-registered in another European country from where they were initially purchased. So don't always count on the warranty kicking in. Let me leave you with this thought. Something I've mentioned before and a hill I'm willing to die on here. I think it's really relevant given this case. Road tax, vehicle excise duty. It should be charged not dependent on tailpipe CO2 emissions, but repairability. There should be a repairability index, and based on how well a car scores on there, that will determine its tax class. Imagine what that would do. Overnight, we would see manufacturers drop these unfixable tactics. Parts would suddenly become plentiful. And I'm not just talking about these bearings, but the various insane repair blockades that we've seen over just the past year. The problem is, governments have become so fixated on CO2 output that they've lost sight of the bigger picture. There is no such thing as a zero-emission vehicle because they all produce emissions during the manufacturing process. If part of that manufacturing process needs to be repeated, in this case for a drive motor, because a simple bearing can't be swapped out, what we have is effectively a double emission vehicle. But as long as the tailpipe CO2 is low, it gets a big old thumbs up from the government. It's insane, isn't it? It's absolute insanity. The most environmentally friendly car is the one that does not need complex assemblies being reproduced and swapped out over and over again. It's the one that's got a high degree of repairability and therefore a long service life. A bit like we used to have. It's little wonder that simple, fixable, used cars continue to skyrocket in value if this is the sort of thing that you're faced with on newer cars. And if that's the camp that you happen to be in, looking at used cars opposed to new cars, and who could blame you, do bear in mind that all our channel viewers get 20% off HPI checks from Vehicle Score. This service will tell you if the car's ever been written off, it'll tell you if it's got outstanding finance, amongst a host of other information you're going to want to know. As ever, thank you so much for watching. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in a few days' time.